No, I won't be doing XG because they're not a K-pop group, and I'm not doing any boy groups because hell will have to freeze over before I spend 2 hours willingly listening to 80s and hyphens new music. Also, no hard feelings. I stand every single artist here except for one. These are just unbridled, unbiased, and honest opinions. By the way, if I sound like tired or disinterested, it's because I filmed this first thing in the morning. This was a genuine setup from SM. Who sends a rookie group to Coachella? Especially aespa, we've been knowing they can't perform. I'd like to say they've gotten better, but seeing some of their concert clips this year, yikes. Lip syncing knowing damn well they can sing live. And they look bored as fuck on stage. Like, no respect for fans that pay to see a fucking lackluster performance, bro. This is your job. I don't care if you don't want to be there. Maybe you should have chosen a different career path then. Anyways, that was a bit off topic, but like I said, vocal wise, they were amazing, but they obviously weren't able to command a crowd. And I don't blame them. They literally debuted during COVID, so they weren't used to large crowds or crowds at all. And putting them on that stage during a massive hate train was certainly a choice. But it was character building, I guess, because they began to improve. But I think they definitely deserve a redo, though. Despite my grievances with their performances on their current tour, if they put effort, they can definitely perform well. aespa was the right group to perform at Coachella, just not at the right time, really.
You could not pay me to give a fuck about or praise 21.
What the fuck do they actually do to you in YG training? This girl cannot and should not sing. My bad, I sound like a massive hater. I actually do like Lisa, and you know what? I'll say it. Alter Ego was a solid debut album. Lisa is known for her amazing performance, but this was so lackluster, really. I'm not even mad at the lack of live vocals because trust me, did not want to hear that. I was rejoicing every time she put that mic down and let the loud ass backtrack do the talking. It's a bit embarrassing sometimes. I do try to defend her, believe it or not, but the Dreams performance or whatever, it gets to a point, you know. How have you spent a decade in YG's basement and still come out sounding like that? Jojo, have you learned nothing? And mind you, singing that song was completely optional. If I'm not mistaken, she still had songs she didn't perform. So, like, it's like you wanted to get publicly shamed. I'm not gonna put it all on Lisa though. Whoever her director for this performance was did her dirty. I think the video game character selection concept or whatever was cool. I wish they leaned into that a bit more in promotion for the actual album release. I don't think she would have gotten clowned on as much for the cringe OCs if it was advertised more as a choose your character thing instead of the Wonderland system. However, outside of the overall concept, this arrangement and choreography or lack thereof did not serve her well. Lisa is not a singer, and that's okay. She's also not a rapper, and that's okay because she's a dancer, a performer. But the way she was just walking around the stage doing a little two-step here and there did not make it seem like that. I don't know why they try to make Lisa something she's not. Putting a mic in front of her mouth only hurts her image, especially in the American music industry. If Lisa weren't Lisa of Blackpink, she would probably be on the same level of popularity as Chungha or Sunmi. No shade to them because like Lisa doesn't bring anything to the table. Especially when you compare her to her peers in the American music industry, her rapping is inauthentic and doesn't have any passion or story behind it. It's not deep or personal. She's putting on a disguise. In the K-pop industry, inauthenticity is almost expected, but when you bring that over to a different market, and especially the rap industry, it doesn't bode well. Vocals matter a lot more over here too, and she does not have that. Lisa obviously doesn't want to sing. That mic is solely there as an accessory, so why choreograph a performance that gives her no excuse to be skipping every line that requires any form of talent? Money is the most obvious too. I was actually dying laughing. She does this in every performance of the song too. No reason for her to be dead silent every time that pre-chorus comes on. She's not even doing some crazy dancing or anything. No cartwheels, no handstands. Literally just waving her hands about and she still can't sing. Like, these people, they need to show me why I should genuinely care about her. Because in reality, she brings nothing to the industry except her dancing skills.
For some reason, her team or whatever refuses to showcase that and continues to let her write corny ass raps. You want the old Lisa, then listen to my old shit. Babes, you are the old Lisa. Tell me how Fuck Up the World is any different to La Lisa, or Rockstar is any different to Money. You just look a fool. And she was doing so good with songs like New Woman. Genuinely one of my favorite songs of 2024. Hats off to her. And it was so unique and something not seen before in the K-pop industry. And I was hoping for more of this. And then she releases Born Again. And it's so incredibly mid, but it's something different. Then she goes and spoils it by making the final single Fuck Up the World. So much potential wasted because she wants to be somebody else, mourning the artist Lisa could have been currently.
I honestly don't know. It just feels a bit awkward to me. Maybe it's the lack of budget or like the lack of use of the stage. I just wasn't massively blown away by it. I think it may be because I watched the 2023 performance first, so I already knew they can do so much better than this. But nonetheless, this performance was still iconic. Not much notes. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't crazy good either. I definitely do think this was their prime popularity and performance wise. A lot less vocal slip ups or skipping lines or shouting to avoid singing this time around. They definitely must have regressed through the years, and I don't blame them with all the hiatuses that they get put through by YG.
Right. I was a massive hater of Blackpink at one point. I have a serious love-hate relationship with this group. In the love phase right now, as I've just purchased tickets to the upcoming world tour. Slightly regretting, because I know it's going to be a mess, but London is one of the last stops, so maybe there's some hope. You know, when they actually give a fuck, they can perform. I was blown away when I saw the clips on my timeline. I mean, how could you not gag? I really wanted to hate their asses so bad, but I had to stand, unfortunately. I was rewatching clips maybe 2 weeks after Coachella ended. Like, we were actually all buddy buddy for a couple of weeks before I went back to being a hater. Definitely not a flawless performance. Jennie pisses me off because why was she dissociating halfway through fucking Coachella? Girl, can you do your job for once? And there was def a voice crack or two or three or more. It's okay, they were never known for their outstanding vocals. They didn't give us Beyonce or Mariah Carey. Girl, they weren't even giving us We Just Sold Nothing, but they were giving stage presence. Rose is actually so underrated as a performer. I'd go as far as to say she's the best in Blackpink. Let's work that tea up. Even Jisoo was giving us a little something. We like Jisoo in this household. Definitely the most fun I've had watching these performances. I left that stream with lesserafim becoming my orbs, 1-800 Heart and Fun stuck in my head, and a need to see them live in concert. lesserafim are amazing performers, and their energy is infectious. I couldn't help but smile and sing along with them. No wonder there were only good reviews from people that actually went. And enough time has passed. lesserafim had a fantastic, almost flawless Coachella performance. Also note that when people talk about Femchella, they never mention week 2, where they had noticeably better vocals. Right. Anyway, the only complaint would be obviously their vocals. They were not top notch, but I don't think the countless death threats and bullying masked as criticism they received was warranted in any way. Even if it was bad as people were making it out to be, nobody should have to go through that. Since XG, not K-pop, I know, don't get your panties in a twist, Jennie, Lisa, and Hyphen performed at Coachella this year. I've seen several posts claiming that lesserafim needs an apology and it wasn't even that bad. Goes to show you how brain dead K-pop stans are, because when you look at it through an objective lens, objectively, they did not slip up once in the stage presence department, despite this being their first performance in America, if I'm not mistaken, and not to mention it's fucking Coachella. They didn't slip up once in the energy department despite their intense choreographies with minimal breaks, and most importantly, the actual people that went loved it. K-pop stans only care about what K-pop group is fun and cool to hate, and now it's no longer trendy. Y'all wanna backtrack and claim it was never that bad, or rewrite history and say that it was all constructive criticism, because I was there And the Twitter timeline was unbearable for days. I couldn't use that app, and I saw about, what, maybe 2 tweets that could be classed as actual constructive criticism in that time. Going up on that stage and performing like the rent is due is a massive accomplishment. You all can never ever make me think that Coachella was in the slightest way bad. And you know what? They've improved so much since that, and I'm so proud of them. We definitely need a redo for 2026. It's obviously not necessary to prove the haters wrong, but it would feel so damn good. I don't know, maybe I'm biased because they are my alts. Um, to be fair, I actually wanted to rank them first, but I think it would be unfair considering their small vocal hiccups. However, if I were to rewatch any of these performances, my first pick would 100% be lesserafim every single time. I'm sorry, you just cannot make me hate her. As an artist, at least. It's still fuck that hoe, but I mean, Ruby was amazing, and so was her performance at this year's Coachella. I know a lot of people try to say, like, the energy wasn't there, but I don't see it. This was one of her best solo performances, and by far my favorite. She went on that stage and performed every song amazing, don't lie now. I suppose she was tired at some points, which is understandable because not only was she performing for 50 minutes straight, but she was also performing for 50 minutes straight alone, which takes more effort and talent than a lot of y'all can actually grasp, especially since her stamina isn't the greatest, which is expected when you literally don't eat. You need food for energy, so when these K-pop companies starve their idols, they're just hindering their ability to perform. Not to mention, she had to perform in the middle of a desert with crazy heat. I don't think her tiredness was noticeable anyway. She managed to distract me with her stage presence, and also it was just not as bad as y'all made it out to be in the first place. She sang about 95% of the songs non-stop with quite literally no breaks and managed to have minimal vocal slip-ups. This performance just doesn't compare to the others. Her aura, generational. I mean, at this point, it's not criticism, it's just nitpicking. Y'all are expecting too much of her because she gave 100% throughout the whole show. Yeah, it's not enough. It's genuinely impossible. I think you're forgetting she's human at the end of the day. There's only so much she can do, and it's insanely impressive she made it to the top of my rankings despite being a soloist. 10 out of 10. Genuinely. I'm not glazing, I have zero criticism.